admittedly, I forgot to do any vlogging before and during the event, so this is after. Just a little intro for people that are new. This is an EKS, so Elite Kart Series run event. It is their round 2, which is held at Whilton Mill, so we're back home effectively because it's the only track that we've raced at so far. We are in split 2, so the B side of the heavyweights. If we win a heat, we get upgraded to split 1. The day started off very wet, and it sort of dried progressively as the day went on. So sort of like the other Ultra GPs we've done, but with a stacked grid of drivers, some very, very, very good skill there for the day. So watch along. We're going to jump into Heat 1 now and see how we get on. Wish me luck. I know it's after, but wish me luck.
So jumping in now just into the grid. For whatever reason, they messed up the grid, so they just slapped this guy in the middle of the track. But anyway, we move onwards. Got a decent-ish start. Track's still really greasy and wet at points, so we're just taking our wet line here. As we see, one guy got caught out by that, and going up into Christmas now. We've sort of just fell into no man's land. We've got a big gap behind us and a gap in front of us, but these 3 guys just get it completely caught out by the wet, and we manage just to sneak up into P2, and we can see P1 ahead of us. We're just sort of on the hunt while still trying to make sure that we're keeping everything clean on track and not doing anything silly. So we managed to survive the first lap carnage, and we're still trying to find a mixture of lines here. It was wet, but it was dried in places, and it was not totally dry, but just constantly experimenting with different lines to try and keep getting quicker, effectively. So sort of coming down into the boot now, and the other laps we were sort of really gaining on P1, and in the back section we're losing out now in the last bit of the laps. So we're trying different lines, we're trying to see how much we can get away with, and here you see I just take too much curb and just turn the kart around on me, and we lose 1, 2, 3 positions, and then there's a nice little gap, so we just sort of slot in, and not happy with myself, so we just now got to get our head down and try and see if we can claim any more positions for the rest of the race. So jumping forward a few laps here now. Not happy with the car. It was handling really well. It was more than me, just not amazing in the wet. Definite a lack of skill, and the guy behind is creeping up on us, so I keep looking to see where he is, and we give him room, and we're still trying to semi-stay on a decentish line, but he just pops it straight past us and takes a completely different line, one admittedly I was not taking, and we sort of catch back up, but as soon as we get into the boot, you'll see he just sort of disappears. And we tried to get a switch back on the traditional wet line, and it works, but then he's on the dry stuff coming into the final corners here, and then we just can't get the cart settled, and he just pulls away. But a good little battle. Definitely in the wet it's hard to have close racing, because if you touch each other too much or do some bumper rubbing, it's normally ends in tears. So it was good. So jumping forward now to the end of heat 1, so we're on to our final lap. Not much really went on. I just sort of fell back from kart 31 that overtook us, and there was a big enough gap behind where it was not really under threat. So we was trying to get a good time for heat 2 to give ourselves the best possible grid position, because the way the EKS run it is your fastest lap in your previous heat sets your quali for the next heat. So we wanted to have a good time for heat 2. But just sort of now, you see there's a nice big gap behind and a big gap in front, so we're just sort of bringing it home nice and carefully as the guy's off in the grass there. And we end up finishing, spoilers, but we end up finishing P5, and we started in P5, so didn't gain or lose anything there. As we come into the last corner, we just sort of making sure we close off the door to anyone. I think the guy was a back marker anyway, so nothing to worry about, but I didn't know at the time. And that's heat 1 done. So finishing P5, good little battle at the start. Going to jump straight into heat 2. So we started P9 in this. Didn't set as good a lap as we thought, but it's still wet but not raining anymore. So start is a bit hectic as normal. We just try and keep it clean here. We see some gaps opening up, so we just try and squeeze in where we can. And we see this guy's going to go, so we just throw it up the inside. Again, it's dry, so we can just manage to keep our nose clean through that. And we go from P9 to P3 in 3 corners, so good going. The kart that we had definitely had some long legs on it. It was definitely a good one in the straight. So now we can see that P1 and P2 are starting to battle a bit, which is, you can see, are catching up to them quite significantly. So we're just keeping our head down now, not worried too much about what's going on behind us, and just trying to close that gap to P1 and 2. And hopefully, if they start scrapping, we can pick up on some quick wins. Quick check behind just to make sure that we're good. I always seem to forget kart numbers, so when I'm like looking forward like that, it's because I'm trying to work out if I've got a penalty or not. Fortunately, often I don't, because I'm great respectful driver here. But as we can see, we're sort of catching back up to the 2 in front, or second place is falling back into us. We're getting more and more confident with the lines. As you can see, we're taking more curb, getting later on the brakes, we're coasting less. We're still taking the wet line. I was a bit hesitant to try and start mixing up here, just because we'd had such a good start. Didn't really want to do anything that was going to compromise that, like in heat 1. So we can see here we've managed to catch up to the back of kart 24, currently in P2. And in my head, I'm thinking, probably still got an endurance mindset, but I can work with this guy and we can catch up to P1 and see what happens. And the guy, we get a bit scrappy coming out of turns 1 into turn 2. And you see he gets a good run on us here. And we're sort of gaining, he goes defensive, and we just stick to our normal sort of wet, damp line. And we're gaining, if not maintaining, so it's not, we're not doing anything wrong. But everyone's getting more confident on the brakes here, and he takes the full dry line, and we stay on the wet line. Again, it's just sort of a give and take, and we're yo-yoing for a while, which is good fun, especially when you're behind trying to hunt someone down. It's not so fun when you're in the lead and you've got someone behind you, because you know that if you make a little mistake, they're gonna jump on it. But we sort of mess up that last corner there, which allows P2 to pull a massive gap on us. But we are both catching P1, so sort of a give and take there. So P2's caught up to P1 now. We've fallen off a bit, but it's okay. We've still got plenty of time left in the race, so we're just focusing on our race now, just maintaining our position, because we've done really well, so we're going to get some good points out of this. And then sort of coming up into Christmas, you can see ahead that the carts, they have a little coming together, and it just stops all of their momentum. And they say, like, apologise and move on and stuff, and we just completely dive up the inside and take P1. And then right now I am bricking it. I didn't expect to be here. As much as we've carted Whiltion Mill, and I love Whiltion Mill, I'm not that quick. Or I don't think I am. So, skipping forward a few laps now, we've managed just to hold that lead, and we're pulling a nice little gap, to be fair, so we're doing alright. And we're coming up to a back marker now, and this is where in racing in general it gets interesting, when you've got someone who's not racing, you, comes into play, because if we get caught behind them at a bad point, we lose loads of time, and the person behind might catch them at a good time and they'll gain loads of time. But he moves straight out of the way here. I give him big thumbs up, because it's good racecraft and good etiquette. You know, he's not racing us, and he just moved out of the way. Simple, nice and easy, and that's what it helped me out. So coming into a last lap here, had a really good race. Again, another back marker we're coming up to, and we're going to catch him. If we catch him at the top of, going up into Christmas, that's a bad point, because we need to carry as much speed as we can. But again, points us through. Nice thumbs up. Keeping it clean, just taking our normal line, not pushing it, not going for fastest lap. We're just bringing it home now. So you can see I've got nice little bit of breathing room. Not loads, but just enough to sort of not have to be on the limit and potentially have a little spin out. So coming into the last few corners, I'm thinking, like, blimey, I might have actually managed to have a bit of success here, especially after Silverstone. We had nightmare round at Silverstone, and coming into the final corner, we've got P1, which means we move up to split 1 for the final heat of the day, and that means we're with the fast boys, and we start at the back of the grid, so absolutely no pressure. Get the long walk all the way to the back of the grid, which normally I'd be upset about, but I'm actually quite happy about this, because this means that we're on the faster side of the grid, and that's where I want to be at the sharp end eventually, so this is good. So jumping, we just sort ourselves out. I have a red kart suit, it's brand new to me, but the deal was, I made in my head, if I move up to split 1, then the red suit comes on. It's quite odd, red suit, pink helmet, but we move. So green light goes. We are not worried about a position here. We just want to have a good bit of racing. The track's nice and dry in 90% of the places here, but the guys up ahead have a little coming together. Bit messy here, so we're just thinking we can try and pick off a few positions. And we've got absolutely no pressure on us here, so it's just pure out and out fun racing. And honestly, this final heat here, I remember I don't think I was the quickest by far, but we had some good battles and almost get punted out there, but good battles and was just a fun race, which is what we kart for. So no complaints from me whatsoever. This was great, and I hope that you guys see the highlights and think that this was a good bit of fun, because it really was. So we can see here kart 26 and 29 are starting to have a bit of a battle here, and we're quicker in the long run, and 26 here goes out a bit wide, which means we manage just to pinch that spot off of him and can really start throwing it going down towards Christmas here. So we think about a move here. Guy gives us room, so we take it, again give him room back, try squeezing us, but we just sort of hang on in there, have a quick check just to make sure we're not going to do anything, get a bit later on the brakes, and obviously it's dry, so we can now start using a bit more curb, and that's another spot for now. Bit of human DRS, yet to feel the effects of it, but 100% it definitely worked. We hit a bit of a wet spot here, which washes us a bit out wide here, but we're just heads down, sort of checking, making sure we've not got anyone coming out unexpectedly, and we can start really taking more of the dry line, especially into Christmas and the exit. You see, I start absolutely mullering the curves. Using every bit of the track, and we sort of try and hold a position here. I think the guy throws it up the inside. We end up losing 2 positions. Kart 7 was the guy that got spun at the start of the heat, so he's just climbing his way back up. So point him through, we're not going to argue, we just want to work together and sort of catch back up to the tail end of the main pack. So as you can see, they goes a little bit wide there, and kart 7 manages to squeeze back in front, and we think about a move going into Christmas, but we get closed off and bottle it. So we just sort of hang back. We know we're quicker in this section here, it's just the boot that we're struggling in, so start lining ourselves up for the next lap, seeing if he makes any mistakes that we can capitalise on. Just sort of tucking in here, and now we're starting to line up the move going up into Christmas now. So we get really good-ish run out of Christmas, going up towards Christmas, sorry. And we hit a clean line here. taking a bit more curb than kart 26. And we're just absolutely throwing it around. Honestly, I was having so much fun here, so I can't complain at all. This was some good racing in my eyes. So again, going into the boot, start lining up our run down up into Christmas here. So we want to open the car up, let the car really start to work, and open up the engine, get nice and tight into the first corner, carry as much speed as we can, going up now towards Christmas, and we've got a good run here. So we throw it up the inside, get late on the brakes, clip the apex, and just power all the way through, and we're carrying so much speed we managed just to pull a nice little gap straight away from the guy now behind. Quick check back just to see if he was gaining anything, and now we're sort of in some free air to start putting some lap times together and catch up to the guys in front. So jumping forward now, sort of we've got like 2 or 3 laps left. The guys in front started arguing, and you can really see when you start to have a proper scrap how much it slows you down, because these guys start arguing now, and you can see we're instantly gaining mass time on them. So they're switching it around back and forth. We manage just to sort of close up to the back of them. You see these guys are having to take like compromised lines and stuff, which just is allowing us just taking a normal line just to really bring it onto the back here. And we get a really nice run coming down towards kart number 7 here into the boot. Take a bit of a wider like sweeping line into the last chicane. Straight over that curb, and now you see it says final lap, so this is the last lap of the race, so we've got nothing to lose, nothing to gain. But these guys here, they have a little coming together, and it just slows them down enough, and kart 7 sees us and he stays on the defensive line, so we throw it round, sort of hoping to get an undercut a bit later on. It doesn't work, so we're just cruising alongside here, but we get a good run going down to this corner here, and we're on the normal line, so we go for the switchback, sort of semi-sticks, but he's still alongside, so we give him enough room to get through the corner. And then again into this corner, he's still there, so we give him enough room. He then gives us enough room going onto the back straight, which just allows us to carry a bit more speed and pull away. So now we just jump straight back on the line, close the door, sweep through the last few corners here, and take the checkered, finishing P15 in split 1 for the day. Some really, really, really fun racing. And yeah, we managed to finish P14 overall out of the 37 drivers there on the day. So really, really good showing from us. Looking forward to the next round that we end up doing at EKS, because it's a really, really well run series. And if you're looking for a series to do, I highly recommend EKS. But that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching if you've made it all the way here, and have a good one.